The knock that followed me. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Something that happened to me not long ago, and since then, I haven't slept the same. I'm sharing this because I believe that if you hear this, it might happen to you, too. It was an ordinary winter night in 2019, or so I thought. I was living in a small, quiet college town, in one of those old dorm buildings that seem to creak with every gust of wind. My room was at the end of a dimly lit hallway on the top floor. Isolated. Silent. That night, I had stayed up late studying. The wind howled against the windows, and the fluorescent light above my desk flickered occasionally. It was around 2 a.m. when I first heard it, a soft, deliberate knock at my door. Knock. 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 It startled me. At first, I thought maybe it was my roommate, but he had left for the weekend. I called out, "Who's there?" but got no response. I brushed it off, thinking it was just the wind. A few minutes passed, and the knocking came again, louder this time. Knock. 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 This was no wind. I stood up and walked to the door, my heart thudding. "Who is it?" I asked again. Silence. I hesitated, then slowly unlocked the door and opened it. The hallway was empty. Cold air brushed past me, and the dim light flickered, casting long, eerie shadows. As I looked down, I noticed something on the floor, a black piece of paper. I picked it up, and my stomach dropped. Written in thick, dripping red letters was my name. The ink looked wet, almost fresh, like blood. And then, I heard it, a whisper, faint but chilling, as if it came from inside my room. "John. Why did you open the door?" I froze. My breath caught in my throat. Slowly, I turned around, but there was nothing there. Or so I thought. I locked the door and sat back at my desk, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. But then, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. It read, "You shouldn't have opened the door." My hands trembled as I dropped the phone. My laptop screen flickered, and for a brief second, I saw something reflected on the dark screen, a figure standing right behind me. I spun around, but there was no one there. Only the faint sound of breathing, cold and shallow. I didn't sleep that night. But it didn't end there. The next day, I left my room early and spent the entire day on campus. I told myself I had imagined everything. But when I returned that evening, something felt wrong. The air in my room was heavy, suffocating. And then, I saw it. On my desk was another black piece of paper, but this time, it didn't have my name. It simply said, "Run." As I read it, the lights went out. Total darkness. And then, the knocking started again. But this time, it wasn't just at my door. It was everywhere. My walls, my window, even the ceiling. Knock. 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 I screamed, trying to find my phone, but the whispers came again, louder now, surrounding me. "You let us in. You let us in. You let us in." I bolted for the door, flung it open, and ran down the hallway, but the knocking followed me. It wasn't just my room anymore. Every door I passed began to knock as I ran by, as if whatever was there wanted me trapped. I didn't stop until I was outside, shivering in the freezing air. The knocking stopped, but the silence was worse. The part that haunts me: I left that dorm and moved out of town shortly after. But it didn't matter. Wherever I go, I hear it. Late at night, when everything is quiet, it starts again. Knock. 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 And sometimes, I find black pieces of paper with no explanation. Sometimes they have my name. Sometimes, they say something else. The last one I found was under my pillow. It simply said, "You told them my story. If you're hearing this, don't ignore it. Don't answer the knock. Because now, it might come